Robin Michael Garcia, siya po ang founder and chairman ng WR Numero Research. Magandang umaga po. Dr. Robin, si Xander po ito at si Angel.
Good morning po.
Magandang umaga, Sander and Angel. Thank you for inviting us.
Opo. Sir, itong details po muna ng ating survey, maaari niyo po bang ilahad po sa ating publiko in case po na yung iba ay kabubukas lang po ng kanilang mga radyo?
Good morning sa lahat. No? So ito yung aming quarterly publication. Ang tawag namin dyan is yung Philippine Public Opinion Monitor. And it includes nga itong pre-election survey para sa 2028 election. Kala ng mga tao matagal pero actually
Mabilis
next
na lang
year
yan.
is filing candidacy na.
Yes.
No? So October next year. So therefore, dapat this year magdesisyon ng mga tao at yung mga gustong tumakbo. And of course, running for national office will require some resources, coalitions, and mga ganyang decision. So that's why in-include namin yan dito. Pero hindi lang ito yung mga topics na in-include namin. We also included yung national mood sa mga political issues and other social and economic issues, katulad na ng impeachment o ng ICC, pati na rin yung anti-dynasty bill, and yung general perception ng mga tao about sa kanilang kalagayan o sa kanilang buhay. So ito yung mga kasali dyan. And this is a nationwide face-to-face survey. No? So we use all of the top statistical techniques to make it nationally representative. Tapos meron din kaming maraming mga innovations na hindi nyo makikita sa ibang results na
Survey?
mas nakilala nyo rin. Katulad na rin ng yung tinatawag namin factional partisanship. Gusto namin malaman kung ilan yung sumusuporta sa mga political factions such as Duterte, ilan yung maka-Duterte, ilan yung maka-Marcos, ilan yung mga tinatawag naming liberal progressives, yung mga kakampings, tsaka ilan yung mga hindi nag-identify. So binimeasure namin yan dito. Kami yung nag-introduce niya noong 2023. So yeah, so maraming kasama doon sa pinublish namin noong Monday, no, kung saan kami nagkaroon ng press conference noong Monday ng umaga. And kasama na nga itong pre-election poll na minimeasure namin itong presidential, vice presidential, pati na rin ang Senado, early na mga leaders doon sa Senate. Ito yung mga ibang position din sa president and vice president. So yan po yung kasama doon sa pinublish namin.
Sir Robin, dun sa survey po ninyo, 35.9% ang nakuha po, ano? Neto nga pong si VP Sara. Ano po kaya yung pangunahing dahilan kung bakit nangunguna si VP Sara, no, sa presidential preference?
Maraming reason yan. First and foremost, since last year, so nag-publish kami ng 5 public opinion monitor last year. Consistent si VP Sara na nandyan sa number na yan, no? 30+%. Tapos, yung na-mention nyo nga kanina, yung pangalawa, medyo malayo na. No? Malaki yung gap na si Raffy Tulfo. And then si Leni Robredo, lagi naglalaro na second to third place yan silang dalawa. Nagtatay pa yan sila minsan. And in fact, if you really look at it, parang statistically tied dito si Leni Robredo at si Raffy Tulfo. But the point is, over time, nakikita natin na may trend si VP Sara na nasa 30+%, no? Upper to lower 30%, which gives her a commanding lead dito sa initial pre-election poll. Pero kung ibabangga mo yan doon sa data na factional partisanship, parang nagko-correlate dahil around 33% ng lahat ng Pilipino ay nag-identify as a pro-Duterte supporter. No? So, kung titingnan mo, pro-Duterte supporter 33%, tapos may konting maybe 2 to 3% na not necessarily pro-Duterte, baka independent yan sila, nag-add up doon sa pre-election numbers ni Vice President Sara. So ang punto ko lang is, ang main variable kung bakit leading si Vice President Sara is because madami ang pro-Duterte. Sila yung pinakamalaking political faction, na political bloc. Sumusunod dyan, yung mga pro-Marcos na sa 22%. Tapos susunod dyan is yung mga kumakampi sa kakamping or liberal progressives na nasa a little above 15%. No? So malaki yung gap ng mga pro-Duterte versus sa mga pro-Marcos and sa mga pro-Kakampings, no? So, ang undercurrent nitong support na ito na nakikita natin for VP Sara is precisely that marami at malaki yung pro-Duterte supporters. Pero take note that this is the results that you see here is in a post-announcement situation.
Ng
Ibig
ano po?
sabihin, nag-announce si Vice President Sara recently na tatakbo siya. Um, and we were actually expecting to see a higher number. Pero parang hindi pa nagkakaroon, siguro maaga pa kasi no, hindi pa nagkakaroon itong tinatawag naming post-announcement surge or yung talagang intense increase ng support para sa kanya. If you look at the poll, no, medyo mahaba yung list namin. 12 names kasi yan for president. Yung titingnan nyo yung dulo sa baba, 20% ang hindi pa sigurado. Consistently, 20% yan since last year. So napakalaki niyan. In fact, if you go to the vice presidential list, mas malaki, almost 30%. So ibig sabihin, marami pang Pilipino na hindi pa siguro, kasi napakadaming names, so 12 names, hindi pa nila alam sino talaga yung bobotohin nila, no? So ito yung mga Pinoy na siguro titingnan the next few months anong mangyayari, including itong impeachment, including yung ICC. Hindi rin natin alam kung anong mga moves ng palas ng Marcos administration. And ang daming nangyayari basically. So napakalaki niyan. Ang point ng 20% is kung sinong makakuha niyang 20% will benefit tremendously uh, for their chances for 2028.
Opo.
Ang i-connect ko lang kay VP Sara, palagay ko ang strategy dapat kasi ni VP Sara is of course to solidify the base. Pero ang dami na kasing solid na base niya, no. If we were to give her advice, she has to also resonate with the undecideds and yung mga soft voters from other places. So palagay ko parang because I don't, even if she announced, I don't think she has launched her campaign yet. Feeling ko there's still a big room to grow for her, and you would only see the numbers go up. I think if she does have a right strategy.
Opo. And yung kanyang sa vice presidential race naman po, isang Duterte ally din po, yung nag-number one, Bongo.
Correct. Oo, tama. So actually dalawa sila, si Robin Padilla tapos si Senator Bongo, parehong senador ngayon na sitting senators. And then meron tayong independent si Senator Grace Poe. So it's a three-way tie between and among those three individuals. Makikita natin na for VP, it's a more open and fluid field. Walang totally leading na nasa 20+%. Lahat sila, a little over just 10% yung kanilang numbers. Tapos kasi this is a list of 16, sabi nga natin. So madaming tao kaming in-include dito. So kaya siguro nag-disperse itong support sa other people, no? Kaya hindi natin nakikita na napakalaki nung lead nitong si Senator Bongo. But yeah, so both vice president and presidential races feature pro-Duterte candidates, so potential standard bearers for each of these respective positions for president and vice president. But of course, this is very early, no? We don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of things that can happen within them, no? Hindi natin alam kung, for instance, kung matuloy yung impeachment, of course, ibang topic yan, pero mag-iiba yung field. So, ibig sabihin, there's still a lot of potential changes to the numbers that we see here.
Opo. Sir, sorry po. Sino ho ang nag-commission for this survey?
This is a non-commissioned survey. So usually
Okay.
what we release this. So we have standard topics. We have a standard outline. There are people who we invite to subscribe to this, pero walang nagsasabi, okay, pwede mo kami isama. Kami yung nagdesisyon niyan na ganito yung topic, ganito yung outline, ganito yung methodology, ganito yung framework, at ganito yung mga tao. The way we choose the people, maybe dun siguro
Mga
natatanong nyo rin yan.
respondents natin.
Meron kaming internal committee, no? Yung mga leaders ng WR Numero, founders including myself. Tapos meron kaming mga external senior advisors na mga experts also who are members of academia. Kami, most of us came from the academe, no? We're professors of political science. Tapos, ang dinideliberate namin are what we call yung media signals or external signals from conversations we have with other observers and analysts. Kung sino yung pwedeng maging potential candidates for president and vice president. Tapos, dinideliberate namin ito as a team, as a committee, and doon kami nagdidesisyon kung nailalagay sila o hindi. The reason why there's a big number of candidates here that we included is because we want to be as comprehensive and as rigorous as possible. Gusto namin ma-capture early on kung sino yung mga potential names para in case they decide eventually towards the end of the year, meron tayong na-capture na natin as early as now yung potential support na makukuha nila, and then we can track over time running up to next year kung umaakyat ba support nila or hindi.
May sinasabi kasi sir, yung mga ganito pong survey ay parang mind conditioning, lalo na nga po nalalapit na itong 2028 elections.
Oo nga, well, the reason why we publish that, ang gusto lang talaga namin sa firm, kasi sabi ko nga, we are professors, we're academics, no? So, in top institutions abroad and here, ang gusto lang talaga namin is pag-aralan ng politika. Kasi yan ang aming interest, no? Kaya namin pinapublish to also is because we want to make democracy more robust. If you have more data, you make it more robust. And kami, pinag-aaralan namin talaga ang Philippine democracy. And the only way you can do that is if you have a comprehensive and rigorous and consistent studies regarding Philippine politics and society. Yan talaga yung, in fact, the reason why we even founded the firm is because we really want to put forward something newer and something more systematic sa ating society.
Sir, siguro last on my part regarding this matter, sa tingin niyo po bakit hindi pa nawawala yung tinatawag na Duterte magic sa kabila nga po ng mga impeachment trial, impeachment complaints, tapos ang issue pa ng confidential funds. Andiyan pa yung sinasabi nitong si Madriaga, 'di ba? Laban po kay VP Sara. Ano pong pananaw niyo po dito?
I think babalik tayo doon sa campaign ni President Duterte noong 2016, 10 years ago. I think the Dutertes were really able to create this compelling narrative that they are able to create practical results through strength and through some level of compassion towards Filipinos. I think nag-stick yan sa mga tao, and until now, ganyan pa rin mag-isip yung mga tao at hindi nag-iba yung kanilang affinity towards the Dutertes. And na-sustain naman nila yung brand na yan, no? Of course, through President Duterte, when he exited his office, napakataas pa rin ang support para sa kanya. And si Vice President Sara Duterte, kahit anong sabihin nyo about her, actually, you would say that she also has this level of charisma. Sa kanya beyond the father. So kaya na-sustain yung ganyang level of support doon sa mga sa Duterte faction, sa Duterte family. But yeah, so I think it's really that strong message of change, kasi kakaiba talaga ang mga Dutertes compared with sa mga pumasok sa politika dati, especially after the EDSA revolution ng 1986, no? At nagpalit tayo ng gobyerno, nag-present sila ng kakaibang message at kakaibang platform. And until now, nagre-resonate yan. Although nag-evolve yung reasons for support, no? Para sa mga Dutertes. And I think you would also see na nakikita natin yung level of support din for President Marcos is hindi ganun kataas. In fact, noong November, nakita natin yung very, very sharp decline ng support and satisfaction rating for him na bumaba ng 21%. Nakita natin nag-slightly pick up yan to 28-29% today, itong nirelease namin. Pero mas fluctuating yung kay Bongbong Marcos. Pero yung satisfaction rating sa job performance na nito ni VP Sara has always been high, na nasa 40+%. And so you can see that big gap, no? And to be able to break that, parang to break that level of satisfaction support for Vice President Sara, her opponents will need to create a compelling narrative, an equally compelling narrative na nagawa nila at nasustain nila, as I said, starting 2016, 2015, na nasustain until today. Kaso, we have not seen that. No? So it's hindi lang sa ginagawa ng mga Duterte, no? Pero yung hindi rin nagagawa ng mga kalaban nila o na nag-oppose sa kanila, no? And or nag-oppose or parang not necessarily aligned with them. And as you know, ito yung Marcos faction pati itong liberal progressive faction, no? I don't think they were able to, until now they are not able to create this counter narrative or counter brand, an effective opposition, opposing well. I don't think we've seen that. I don't think we have seen that yet.
Opo. Pero
So
Sir Robin, mabalik po kay former President Rodrigo Duterte. Part din po ng inyong survey, parang majority po yata ay pabor na siya po ay sumailalim sa hearing po ng ICC, and then yung parang yung iba pang percentage ay hindi pabor, yung iba pa ay undecided. Can you
yeah,
enlighten
totoo
us
yan,
on
no?
this?
So 50+% are in favor of, ang tanong dyan is whether that President Duterte should personally
Appear.
face and confront the litigation at the International Criminal Court. Ang sagot ng tao is, a majority of it is gusto nila. Ang explanation ko, in fact, nung press conference nung Monday, ang sabi namin is that, in fact, even yung mga pro-Duterte, a lot of them support this, and we hypothesize that a lot of them support this dahil okay din na mas mataas yung magiging panalo ni President Duterte kapag hinarap na yan tapos na-acquit siya. Mas magkakaroon ng parang moral high ground and credibility ito si President Duterte. So that's why mataas yan dahil even yung mga pro-Duterte supporters, some of them, not all of them, a lot of them actually don't want din. Pero marami din may gusto para matahimik na. Kasi kung you really have to go through courts, you really have to go through judicial processes, and face your allegations. And you know, this is in fact the best way to clean your name. If in case there is a case and you win the case, and therefore all of the charges have been proven to be wrong, right? So I think that's the best route in order to defend yourself also. So palagay ko may mga pro-Duterte voters or supporters na nakikitang viable din pala yung pathway na yan towards cleaning the name of President Rodrigo Duterte.
Opo.
Opo, sir, meron din po kayong survey kung saan na sinasabi po ng survey ay marami daw pong Pilipino ang nagsasabi na maling direksyon ang Pilipinas sa ilalim ng administrasyon Bongbong Marcos.
Yes, tama yan, no? So, meron talagang may tinatawag kaming parang economic anxiety, no? Itatahi din natin yan doon sa policy issues na gusto nilang tugunan ng mga tao. In fact, very revealing yung results na yan kasi there's a very sharp increase doon sa 40% increase doon sa jobs and job creation na priority dapat ng gobyerno. And because of that, because wala pa yan, and gusto nilang mag-focus yung gobyerno, medyo unsettling yung kanilang situation ngayon, and they think that government should focus more on economic policy, economic issues rather than political issues such as impeachment of the ICC, and things like that. And even anti-dynasty. If you look at the results regarding anti-dynasty, around 40% are not in favor of legislating or discussing anti-dynasty, because they are against the anti-dynasty bill, or that they don't think that it's the right time to discuss this. Kasi nga, instead of focusing on political legislation or social or more political topics in Congress with the Senate, there is this backdrop of economic anxiety and economic uncertainty for many people that I think parang hindi pa na-address ng ating gobyerno dahil nga they're distracted and thinking about leadership changes, di ba, last year. So, nag-election tayo, but shortly after that or before that, nagkaroon ng madaming leadership changes. So that gives them not just uncertainty for investors, in fact, uncertainty for our own people. Diba? Kasi it's every time there's a leadership change, it shows that that we don't have any stability regarding the programs that we need to pursue. Diba? Kaya nga may mga nagsasabi dapat beyond 6 years yung presidente para may continuity. Mas lalo na kung nag-change frequently yung leadership, di ba, sa Congress and Senate. Ang daming kailangan gawin. Not only that, pati nga cabinet, di ba? Ang dami pang OIC ngayon. Parang halos 10 yata yung hindi pa natatanggal yung mga secretaries, nagkaroon ng shake-up. Tapos napapalitan, hindi pa nako-confirm. So baka mapalitan ulit, right? So there's just a lot of worry. And Filipinos feel that the government as a whole, no, the Philippine government as a whole, including all of its institutions, are not taking care of what matters the most, which is jobs, which is underdevelopment, solving economic hardship, economic depravity, which has been a consistent and recurring theme in Philippine politics and Philippine government. Kaya yung mga nakakapagbigay ng kahit pa hope, no, and solusyon diyan sa problem na yan is always the one that gets elected, no, to higher office. So I think even for their, as an electoral strategy, they need to be able to solve these problems for the people.
Opo. Sir Robin, kung marami po or mayoriya po ng mga Pilipino ang nagsasabi na maling direksyon ang tinatahak po ng ating bansa, sa tingin niyo po gaano po kalaki ang epekto nito sa ating ekonomiya, lalo po ngayon na we're facing energy crisis?
Yeah, so actually ma-exacerbate pa yan lalo dahil actually itong survey period hindi pa niya nako-cover yung buong
Gera.
karamdaman doon sa US-Iran crisis. Nagkaroon na ng US-Iran crisis pero mas recent kasi yung nag-reverberate yung effect,
Yung effect niya.
sa prices sa diesel at sa Pilipinas. Hindi pa niya nako-cover yan. So the fact that hindi pa niya nako-cover yan tapos medyo anxious na sila ngayon pa lang, ibig sabihin that this will definitely be worse. And one of the bigger criticisms against the president is the inability to solve the issue of inflation. No? So talagang mas lalong mag-worry yung mga tao ngayon, no? And nakikita na nga natin na wala pa nga yung effect ng Iran war, worried na sila. So kailangan talagang pakinggan ng Malacanang itong datos na aming nilabas and our officials. And nagpapasalamat kami sa media organizations such as yourself dahil na ilalabas to it na ipapahayag sa kanila na ito talaga yung gusto tugunan ng tao.
Opo. And I'm sure meron din naman ho silang kopya siguro sa PCO.
Meron na sila. Pero sana basahin nila. Kasi hindi namin dinidiscuss yan sa kanila. So mahaba kasi medyo 70 pages yan.
Yeah, po.
So sana may oras.
Opo. Dr. Robin Michael Garcia, sir, maraming
Thank you so
salamat
much
po.
po.
And sa inyong mga
Thank you
researchers
Sir
po.
Ma'am. Salamat po. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po. Nakausap po natin ang founder and chairperson po ng WR Numero Research, si Dr. Robin Garcia. And ang dami palang laman ng kanilang